Hey Jeff, how you doing today?
I am good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, good. It's good to be here with you. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get started right away. Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the issue that you're dealing with?
So just recently wrapped up a launch my business, and I'm trying to build out my business and kind of like get that rolling. And through a lot of work that I've done, trying to live in the space of like the seven-figure business owner and trying to do all the things that that person would do. So on this launch, I did everything that I imagined that person to do. But the launch didn't work. Kind of came back with $0. And through the whole process, it like after kind of re-examining it afterwards, it like I found that there was like an element of like, yeah, I'm doing all the things, but I don't actually believe it. And like, I'm not sure how to uncover what the root cause is and how to like get past it. Cause sometimes I find it hard to um, believe that when it's like there's like the saying fake it till you make it. Well, sometimes I just feel like I'm faking it, and it's like, yeah, but that's not really me. So it's like, how do I believe it without actually experiencing it?
Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like maybe that belief is contributing to the lack of success. I mean, that's what I would
Probably, yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would imagine too.
And it's not really easy to directly see maybe how that belief is affecting your ability to succeed.
Hmm.
So what happened with the launch?
Like it, I mean, financially, it was like a bust. There was some good stuff in terms of like I used a team. We got like everything built out. We had a good runway and everything. Never felt more relaxed about something in terms of just like everything's getting taken care of, and it's not like a last minute like anxiety producing event. It was enjoyable, and so it was like this is how it's supposed to be. And then we went live. The first session was really good, but we had like a low turnout with the amount of people that signed up for it, and it just kind of tapered off from there. And when cart opened, it was just the engagement wasn't there, and I probably didn't do a good enough job of communicating the value of the program. And a lot, I'm sure there's a lot of other things that I could have probably done better.
Sure. And you work in marketing, right? So
Yeah.
this wasn't like your first rodeo as far as putting together a campaign and running the ads and launching it and
Yeah.
running the whole show. You've
Yep.
kind of done this thing before.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And do you have any idea what went wrong?
Yeah, I've had enough time to think and try some other things, and what I came away with was the messaging I used for this particular launch was not targeted enough to the people that are already kind of like on the train of what my program helps them do, which is create businesses.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was more like attracting people that just want freedom
Yeah.
and more money and like, all the just like real
Okay.
general stuff.
Yeah. Can I stop you right there?
Yeah,
Okay, good. We're not going to start there because I just wanted you to go into that for a second to see if
sure.
you had some ideas, because the
Yeah.
ideas of what prevented you from succeeding aren't really important. Because what I believe is that it starts with you and your belief. And
Hmm.
if we can shift the way that you think about yourself so that you're not feeling like you're faking it until you make it and it's not really you.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? I think we could shift that. It's a funny thing how if we can shift that mindset, your behavior starts showing up differently in
Hmm.
the world. And you'll start, believe it or not, you'll actually start having access to different parts of your brain. You'll be behaving in a way that makes it more likely for you to succeed. Um, Tell me about that belief again so what we're going to do today is I'd like to dig in a little bit with on that belief about faking it till you make it, and maybe give you a different perspective, because the clip I saw of you right about the time before you were about to make your pitch was where you kind of got defeated, and I know that you had seen the numbers, and so it showed off in your physiology.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that in and of itself is an indicator that something's something could be corrected here with your perspective. And also it's good because we don't really want that showing up on camera, right?
Yeah.
For your audience, it's really hard to sell something if I can see you right now that you're defeated and you don't even believe in yourself or the process behind you that got all of this stuff in motion.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So can you go back to that defeated moment for just a second?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Okay, now come back here with me because I want you to be back in the room. You see, I just wanted you to check out where that was, that space, that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, like if we can just, I want to break that state for a second. So maybe just stretch out. Yeah, a nice real stretch. And tell me what you had for breakfast.
Pink pancakes.
Were they pretty awesome?
They were okay.
Yeah. All right. Good.
My daughter loves pink, so they had to be pink.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. I love it. So now we got some blood back flowing into your face, and we got the energy right where we want. But that place where you can go for defeated, you just proved to me that, and you for yourself, we know where that's at. You can go there anytime you want. We're going to use that a little bit later in the call. But I want to introduce this idea to you that, you know, there's this idea of failure versus feedback. So it's really good to fake it until you make it. It is really good, but it's also good to believe in yourself at the same time. Right. As long as you're being genuine and you're being honest and you're not misleading anyone, you can step into the role of a good salesman who knows how to pitch his product, especially if you believe in yourself and you believe in the product, right? Even if you've never done it before, it's entirely appropriate to fake it.
Yeah, and so that makes sense.
Yeah, we got that part.
I feel like logically, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But there's like something, I feel like that's, I don't know, it's just got to hold somewhere. And, you know, I thought that's what I was doing.
Yeah. So let's look at it this way. There's, I think you're looking at the wrong finish lines. So in my mind, the only finish line is at the end of life, when you die. That's the finish line. And it's easy to get defeated and it's easy to not believe in yourself when you can look at a specific event and go, and the result of your behavior and say, see, I told you so. You're actually just confirming this belief that you already have, you know, this confirmation bias that you already have about, yeah, I'm just going through the motions, but it's not really me and I'm not going to succeed. And there, see, I told you so. Yeah, you're unconsciously really acknowledging that.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So, and that's where you've already, by this point, you've already gone into the disappointment. I mean, you can, if you wanted to, not now, but you could if you wanted to. That's an option, that's a choice. And it's actually a habit that you have, you know, set of events, set of circumstances. Your strategy is, you know, find evidence to support my belief that I'm faking it till I make it and it's not really going to work, and then feel disappointed about it and defeated. Yeah, well, we'd like to change that strategy. And I don't know if it's going to happen just like this today, right now, or if it'll take a little bit of time to warm up to. Either way, this is the idea. We want to, from this moment on, we want to start to change that belief and influence that belief so it influences your behavior about whether or not it's possible for you to succeed or not. And, you know, where I'd like you to start putting your attention is on the real finish line, where, you know, pulling back and realizing that the real finish line is in your future. At some point when you die, when it's all said and done, your finish lines aren't really here on Earth. And what I mean by that is, if we're looking at results and the results of our behaviors in this environment at this time, and we're disappointed by them, we can only be disappointed if we think that's it right there. Like, for you to be disappointed, it was only really possible in that moment if you thought, this is it. See, I can't do it. But the reality is you successfully produced those results.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. In this environment, right? At this time, with the resources that you have, you produced those results. You successfully produced the results you got. Whether those results are zero money in your bank account and a deficit in your bank account as well, and whatever happened with audience members and list growing, etc., and your emotions, all of that stuff you were able to produce. And in fact, you probably could replicate it. Yeah. This is good news, right? Because this is how I want you to start thinking of things. That's great. When stuff like this happens, this is not the end. This is not the finish line by any means. Zoom out, take a step back. Like we can literally step back and take a step back. And sometimes it takes a little reminder, like we need to remind ourselves to breathe, right? Or yawn.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Instead of feeling defeated, like you might have been tempted to feel defeat right there. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was just a yawn that you interrupted. But instead, we get to take a breath, readjust our posture, and remember that this is not the finish line. In fact, this is good news. Now you know how not to produce that result. And you can take whatever you learned along the way while producing that result, even though it was an unintended, undesired result. You know, you learn from that. Right. And say to yourself, this is not the finish line. I'm actually further ahead than I was before I started this now, because now I have more experience behind me. And I'm not even going to use the word failure because you successfully produced those results. So now what can you do? You have the same target in mind or some similar target. Maybe you adjust your target based on what you learned in that experience of successfully producing those results. Take your new target, and I'm still going at it. That's your attitude. Adjustment for next time. It's in that moment, right before defeat, when you can say, you shift your perspective, take a deep breath, back up, right? Remember that this is not the finish line. And go back at it. And that you have that choice point where, good, I'm glad this happened this way, because now I've learned and I see what I can do. I see what's possible. I see what not to do. This is good. What have I learned? This is where failure versus feedback comes into play. That's why I like to say there's no such thing as failure. The only way you failed there is if you didn't learn anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely learned.
Yes. So hopefully we're moving through your strategy. You know, right now we're helping your brain move through a new strategy and learn a new strategy for going forward. Yeah.
So my follow-up question would be, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it, but like in that moment before defeat, it's like, yeah, I get it, but it's still like, there's, I can't remember exactly what you said, but there's something about like not having, or like about disappointment or something. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm disappointed. Of course I am.
Yep.
Because I also know that I learned a whole bunch about it, and like the, you know.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Go ahead.
I am interrupting you on purpose.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to be disappointed, don't you?
Well, so I guess I was just saying, like, as an example, like I need this to make money because I can't continue on my business without this making money. So like, you know, it's one of those like, well, obviously there's going to be disappointment. So how do you deal with that?
I don't know if there is going to be disappointment, or who cares if there's disappointment?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if there's disappointment or not. It's not a resourceful state of mind for me to be in, and it's not useful. I can feel disappointed if I want to. You can do it if you want to. Would you like to do some more of it now to just get it out?
I feel like I've done plenty.
Yeah. No, but I'm serious though. Like if you want to feel this, there's a part of you that might want to be disappointed about stuff and go, you know, and just feel what it's like to be disappointed. And I mean, and I'm offering you the opportunity to, you can feel disappointed anytime you want. You can go back to that place. You know,
no, I mean, I feel like I've had a fill of that. How do I move to a more a more better place?
See it coming. See it coming. You know,
what does that mean?
What do you do right before you get disappointed?
I don't know.
You think I've got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
You think about, you make pictures of how things didn't work out, and you compare them to how you wanted them to work out, and then you feel disappointed.
Yeah.
Right. I just watched your eyes. I just watched what you did. You went up to visual recall, and then I know most people usually do this. They have a strategy. I look at the results, and I look at how I weight things, and I compare the two, and they don't match, and then I feel disappointed.
Yeah.
So that's that choice point in the strategy where we want to step in and break that. Right before it gets to disappointment, you started comparing what happened with what you wanted, and you saw the difference between the two. Right? Mm-hmm. So if you were, how does that fit into the big picture of things? I mean, it really doesn't, because in the strategy of life, disappointment is not a useful tool.
Right.
It doesn't give you anything. It's not a resourceful place to be. So we might even just, the desire to remove it from the strategy itself. Get prepared, launch the product, take feedback from it, and adjust along the way, adapt along the way. But with the perspective that what I'm doing right now is part of the bigger journey. This is where it's like part of that strategy. You can help remind yourself, when you start comparing what you want with what you got, you might have to remember, this is not the finish line. I'm going to keep going. And this is good that this happened. What can I learn? What went wrong? What can I learn? How did I produce those results that I did not want? And you can say to yourself, good. The next time that you're tempted to feel disappointment, you can say, good. What next? What now? What do I have to do differently now?
What do you mean? Can you like go more into, I guess, I think that makes sense, but like,
when did you first start to feel disappointed, or know that you were going to be disappointed? You felt it.
Yeah. So there was I like don't remember exactly, but it was when I started like looking at how many people like signed up versus showed up, and it was like, it seems like there's some kind of problem somewhere.
Right. Okay. And you knew you were going to be disappointed, but you weren't disappointed yet.
Yes.
Got it. Right.
It was like I knew. Yeah, that's a good point to make, because I feel like I knew I might be in trouble, but that was like that's a good like, well, I'm not gonna like let it like get to me, and I don't know, maybe like I could have dealt with it differently or something, but I feel like I just went through the rest of it like, I'm just not gonna let it get to me, and then and then it was like just there all along, which probably is more like what I was talking about, where it's like it doesn't feel like I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because what happens when I'm just not going to let it get to me, which means I've accepted it. It's a fact. I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm going to keep on faking it till I make it anyway. Mm-hmm. And there's probably maybe a little bit of attitude that goes with that, Mm-hmm. However, let's go back there again to that point where you started looking at the numbers and you realize this is not what I wanted. And then you're like, I'm going to be disappointed about this, right? Yeah. That's your choice point right there. Or you can look at those numbers, you can do the evaluation, go back to that place right when you were looking at the numbers and you knew you were going to be disappointed. You knew you weren't feeling it yet, but you knew you were going to feel disappointed, and you can actually right there go, good. I have access to this data. It's coming in. It doesn't look the way I want it to look. We can make some adjustments and corrections. If not for this launch, for the next one. This is really good information I'm looking at here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is not the finish line. And that's where you can start taking feedback from your environment and from your behaviors. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You just kind of went through that process. It looks to me like you just went through that process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's your new path.
Yeah.
It's a perspective shift.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And it's a perspective shift that doesn't lead to disappointment.
Yeah, that's true. Um, hmm.
Now, right here, right now, since I have you right where I want you, do you want to feel disappointed right now?
Like, not really.
No, you could though, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, in a snap, I could do that.
Right.
But like, I don't enjoy feeling like that.
No, so don't.
Yeah,
Who
I
cares
don't
if
want to.
Yeah, who cares? And if you
Yeah.
start to feel a little bit disappointed, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit if I feel disappointed, a little bit disappointed. It's when you don't give a shit if you're going to feel disappointed. So what you were saying before is, I'm not going to let disappointment bother me. Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Oh, really? You don't think disappointment's going to bother you? Try some on here. Try some on,
Yeah.
right? So what I'm saying is when you don't give a shit if you're going to feel disappointed. The disappointment shows up either not at all or just a little bit to a tolerable, manageable level. And then you're just like, I don't give a shit that I'm disappointed. I've got work to do. This is not the finish line. I'm busy taking feedback and making adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
This is good.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if I'm disappointed. It's not, I'm not going to let it bother me. It's like, I don't even care because I got a mission to accomplish.
Yeah.
Now, all we have to do now is let that percolate a little bit, let that integrate and settle in so that next time in the future, it's available to you when you need it in real time.
So it's, I don't give a shit. This is good news. This isn't the finish line.
Yeah. It's not, I don't, be careful. It's not, I don't give a shit. I do give a shit about what I'm doing. It's important to me. This work is important. I don't care. I don't give a shit if I'm disappointed about my
results. I'm disappointed. Yeah, that's, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at that moment, it's highly unlikely that you're going to make the decision to feel disappointed. And if you do, it's like, big deal. I don't care if a little bit of disappointment might be okay for a short time. I'm going to allow myself to be disappointed for 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, or 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, or an hour, whatever it is. And then get over it.
Yep.
And I can't wait to find out what happens next time. I'm really looking forward to that. Because this will show up in a lot of ways in your life. This is not just going to show up on the next launch. I mean, we're really talking about everything. We're talking about literally, you go to pour your daughter a glass of milk tomorrow and she spills it on the countertop. You know, I don't know about you, but a lot of people get frustrated about that kind of thing. It's the same idea we're working on here. It's the exact same idea.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's kind of funny you mentioned that because like I consciously try to not do that. Like when the kids create some kind of mess, it's like, I don't know, because like I experienced that as a kid, like, oh, why'd you do that? It's like, well, I didn't do it on purpose. And so I guess what I'm saying is I probably already have experience doing what we were talking about, just in a different context. I just haven't been paying attention to it with
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what you're doing in real life, in real time, you're doing the same thing you did at that launch. Near the end of that launch is you're going, oh man,
Yeah.
things aren't going the way I want. And then it shifts your perspective. It shifts what resources you have internally available in your mind. It changes your emotional state, changes your
Not a big
behavior.
deal.
Yeah. And your relationships.
Yeah.
You know, maybe even with your physical health, I don't know, with your business, financial decisions.
Yeah.
In small ways, this shows up.
Yeah.
So the root thing, I mean, in the big picture, just to recap real briefly, well, all we're really trying to do is avoid you get into a feeling defeated and feeling disappointed, and giving you another option instead.
Yeah.
By shifting your perspective and stepping back and detaching and saying, you know, this is not the end of the line. This is not the finish line. This is not the real finish line I'm looking at. Yeah. And this is good. I've got new information now.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah. I like it, buddy. I like it. I think you're going to notice some welcome changes to your results and the way you feel as you experience the results that you're producing.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Well, hey, you keep me posted on that, all right?
Yeah, I will, for sure.
Keep me posted and let me know how things are going. And if you need any little quick tune-ups or adjustments, or you have any questions, I'm always here for you.